Los Angeles, America. She's a humanitarian. She has achieved a lot for humanity. She has actually done a lot for humanity and has achieved a lot for herself. In 1999, together with the Borders, the Doctors Without Borders, they won a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, beyond that, beyond her volunteer work, she does other works as well. The last time I told you about her. Adrienne Diagne is the CEO of the International Ventures and Trade, a company that works closely with U.S. investors, the African diaspora in the United States, and African entrepreneurs. She is also the acting president of the African Empowered Community based in U.S., Los Angeles, headquartered, and in 23 African countries as well. She has extensive knowledge of the African markets, having worked with over 20 African countries as a business person, as well as a volunteer for Doctors Without Borders. Today, we have her all the way from her base in Los Angeles, and we're just about talking to her. My production team raising her, put her online, so we talk to her, about her endeavors. Her works as a volunteer. I think I have her online already. Adrienne, can you hear me? Is it clear? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you too. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Adrienne, can you hear me? Hello?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I'm a little bit on your side, but I'm so happy to be here today. If the conversation break, let me know. I can move because I'm still, it's a day. I'm here in Los Angeles, California. It's like 3 p.m. and we are still outside in our working place or outside enjoying the weather.
Wow.
Thanks for inviting me today.
Thanks for having you. We're happy. We're glad to have you. I'm glad. Can you hear me? Actually? Can you hear me?
Very well. I can hear you loud and clear.
Very well. I'm glad you can hear me too. Greetings from Ghana. We're happy to have you. Glad to have you. I just ran my people by a brief profile of you. Few weeks ago, we gave you an honor, an extensive one on the program. We talked about your achievements, your works as a volunteer. And during my course of research into your life as a volunteer and as a health professional, I realized you are a Nobel Peace Prize holder. And that particular prize is not an ordinary award. You are a holder of that award together with the likes of Nelson Mandela, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and co, just to list a few. It is not easy to get closer to such an award. I know you did that together with the Doctors Without Borders. But tell us, how did you get the attention of the Nobel Prize?
Well, thanks for asking this question. I believe I grew up, I'm Senegalese, as you know, and I grew up in Senegal, in Dakar. I was born and raised there. Lucky enough to be raised in a family when there were equality. I'm from the Lagos Nation. To let you know a little bit about the Lagos Nation, we are the fishermen. We came from Egypt. I like history. We, in the 7th century, we left ancient Egypt to come to the West. We are part of the Black Moors who went to also educate the European in the 700 years there. And we came to Senegal, in the early 700s, 7th century. And we have our first, republic in Senegal in 1796. Meaning we have equality between men and women. And we also are a matriarchal society, meaning my family, my ancestors are those who create the cities with a group of Lebus like Gore Island, Dakar, Ngaparu, where there is ocean, because we were the fishermen, the sailor from the pharaoh in ancient Egypt. We create all the city on the border of the ocean. We clean the bush and create those villages. And we were raised the way that men and women, as I say, are equal Matriarchal society, meaning the aunts are the one who are taking care of who will marry who. That's a funny part of it. And we have mayors, the structure with mayor, governors, etc. Years before even French people carved the independence. I'm talking again about 1796. Meaning we elect officials over and over and over until Senegal became independent in 1960. However, in my family, we grew up the same way, men and women equal. And myself, I was like, okay, my dad was in the army, in the Senegalese army, and my mom also, they went to Vietnam and Cambodia. My mom speaks like 5 languages. That was French, Wolof, Portuguese, Vietnamese, and Cambodian. I speak 7 languages. Language was always in our family, but what the most important thing is, my dad and my mom never tell me stop. If I want to ride a motorbike, they will tell me, okay, go for it. If I'm left-handed too, they will never tell me, oh, change your hand. It was always how to empower everybody in the family, boys and girls. And when we sit at a table, the baby can speak and give the advice or say whatever they say. We have conversation. Meaning that was the environment I grew up, and in our entire family is like the same for men and women. They clean, they cook. It's not something extraordinary. Then I became a midwife. I went to midwifery school. I was a valedictorian. Even as a child, I liked to go to school to learn. I could read 5 books at the same time. Always interested in traveling in the country because I was reading book. I know about the Ashanti in Ghana. I know about the kingdoms in Ghana, the Akan. All that I've learned it when I was a child. The royal drummers in Burundi, Rwanda. I want to see all these countries that I was reading in books, that I was knowing more about in books. And when I went to learn after midwifery, I work, of course, in Senegal. And I went to learn anesthesiology and child development. And I know that Doctor Without Border was hiring for Rwanda and Burundi. I decided to apply. My dad was telling, okay, are you going to Rwanda and Burundi? I said, yes. He said, can you choose somewhere else? I said, oh, you have Somalia. My dad said, okay, you won't choose Somalia. I said, but remember, you went to war zone. He was a World War II soldier.
Oh, your father was a soldier?
There were 4 boys in my,
Was your father a soldier?
My dad is a soldier. Oh, okay. He was a young soldier. In fact, my dad lost his dad when he was 12 years old. He was orphan. And his mom there was a family, we have lands, and he has lands. And people took their lands. Now, if you see the city hall in Dakar, the land belonged to my grandfather. Then my dad and his mom and all the family become poor, meaning they went to Gorée Island. Luckily, my grandma was, everybody go to school for more than men and girls were going to school in the 20s before. Meaning my grandma was educated. She started working as a maid, raised his kids, and my dad went to World War II with his 3 other brothers. Meaning all of the men in the family, the boys, went to World War II. And one of them became blind because he was a tank rider. And he received a bullet in his head.
Wow.
Meaning, when he came back, he bought his land back, little by little. He bought the land with his money, and he was like, okay, let's do it. He was also the mayor of Gorée Island, the door of no return after that. Meaning, the soldier told me, don't go to Burundi or Rwanda. I said, well, you have it in war zone. I'm going to go. Meaning, is that the way that I left? And my dad was laughing at me every time. He was saying, okay, let her do what she want to do, because nobody can stop her when she decides something.
Was Burundi was Burundi and Rwanda at war at the time you wanted to go to Burundi and Rwanda?
Yeah, there was at war. Was at war, and my goal was to say, okay, they're at war. There is insecurity there. However, there is something that was driving me to go there. It was not about saving people. It was saying, okay, people need help. And it's our continent. It's Africa. I have the knowledge. I don't have fear. Honestly, my dad was saying, she's fearless. Even if you do something, she will never stop. Even when I'm sick, I will every time get up and go. And it's what it is. I went there. It was in war, and I work as an anesthesiologist. But we also have situation when we receive some grenade in our house, we were hijacked, but we knew what to do. We knew what to do because we were trained into At the moment that you arrive in the field, you have to be competent right now. You have to work, and you have to know how to save yourself. You have to know how to learn about security. I was trained with soldiers.
So in the midst of the war, you were there to serve as health professionals together with the Doctors Without Borders.
Correct. As a professional, but remember, I grew up with people from the army. All the generals and the militaries in the Senegalese army, I know them personally, and they were my advisors.
Wow.
They were telling me how to act and how not to act, how to pass a checkpoint. Meaning, as a coordinator, because I went also to Ethiopia, South Sudan, etc. As a coordinator, I knew how to save myself and to make sure that we are not in danger and be able to pull the team out of the danger to be able to come back. That's the most important thing that you know.
I am glad you were at Rwanda at the time of the Rwandan war, the Rwandan genocide. I have spoken about the Rwandan genocide a couple of times already, especially when Ghana is going to the polls. Anytime Ghana is going for elections, I tell the Rwandan story just to sensitize our people about the dangers involved in people talking loosely when elections are about to happen. You have been there and you have seen the genocide closely. Can you share with us what it was at the time to be in Rwanda in the midst of the bullets and the guns flying over people's head?
Well, what is important, and also, if I want to summarize, I have been, most of the time, I have been to country where there were turmoil. Even when there was a turmoil between in Madagascar between Ravalomanana and Ratsirak, I was there in charge also of my team and security because I was running an HIV/AIDS program when that happened. I was in South Sudan in Mankin. I came in Abuyong during Operation Lifeline Sudan when the Northern Sudan was sending their soldier coming back with catching slave 1999, and is when we were talking about when we will be talking about Doctors Without Borders and Nobel Peace Prize. It was all situation where in Ethiopia during the war between Ethiopia and Eritrea, in northern Mali, etc. The same figure that you see in country like that is what we see. There was always external forces who are coming to destabilize our countries for the main reason, the resources. Don't ever forget about the resources that we have in our continent that people are using outside our continent, and they cannot survive without that. The second aspect is politically, we have people who are there placed in a certain position to make sure that they can serve the people who need our resources. Meaning every time that you see people, I see people clap hands and say, this person is here, blah, 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 to help us. The only people who can help us is ourselves. Nobody will come from overseas or outside to save us if we don't talk to each other. And understanding that election is fine. But what we're going to do with election if we don't get along? If every time that there is election, we have to start to reset. Because when I go in a mission, humanitarian mission, I don't reset what somebody has done before me. I will take what the person have done and I will build on that. What I can take out, what I can continue to make sure we can move the mission. The people who are on the ground can continue, can take over and continue their work. Meaning, did you hear me?
I can hear you. I heard you. Adrienne, I heard you. I can hear you.
Yes. Yeah. I think it is the continuation. I'm not going to come to some place and say, oh, come on, I'm come to Ghana. What the guy have done before me, I have to take it over and just reset it. In the United States, you will never see people doing that. They will take what the person has done. It's an administration, and there is a continuation with what they are doing.
Wow. Folks, we're talking to Adrienne Diagne all the way from Los Angeles. I hope I got the name right, madam. Did I get the name right?
Say it again. What is the question you said?
I mentioned your name, and I wanted to be sure whether I got the name right. Adrienne Diagne. Did I get that right?
Adrienne Diagne. Adrienne Diagne.
Exactly.
And in French we remove the E. Yes.
In French, the E is silent, right?
The E is silence. Yeah,
Yes.
this E at the end is silence.
Folks, she's a volunteer with the Doctors Without Borders, the team that won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1999. She's actually an entrepreneur as well, an international one at that, because she's a mediator between the diasporan entrepreneurs and the African entrepreneurs as well. She's a woman of many sides, and we're talking to her because of her honor a few weeks ago. Tonight we decided to hear from the horse's own mouth. That's why we have her online all the way from Los Angeles, and we're having a chit chat with Adrienne Diagne. Let me find out from the other side of you. So basically, that's what won you, your team, and yourself the Nobel Peace Prize. The fact that you have to go to war-torn areas to save lives amidst the confusion, the confrontations between fighters. That's what got the attention of the Nobel Prize, right?
Yes, exactly. The work we have done. You see, when we go in a mission, something that people need to know, we are not going for ourselves. We are not going with the luxury cars that we see with other organization. We go with our tennis shoes, our short.
Were you paid?
Say it again?
Were you paid? Were you paid for the service?
You have to have, it's not a salary, it's a compensation for what you left in the bag, because you left your work, you left your house, you have your bills. Meaning you need to have a sort of incentive to live in some country. But believe me, we are in a house with 20 people in the same house. We can live in a tent. We live in a room where we have bunk bed. It's not luxury. It's here to do the work and leave. And also when we finish, we go back to another mission, meaning we share the place. It's not like, some people, they have one car with the drivers, with a luxury house, no, when you see us, you always see us with T-shirt, and humbling ourselves to make sure that the population will not see us as a threat, and also make sure that I learn a lot from the population I've met, meaning I'm friend with people up to now, not because I came and doing like the cowboy and say, I'm going to save the world. It was, listen, this is what you need. We are here to work together. Show me what you need, and let me tell you what I know. We can match it.
Wow.
Is the way that I do also in my work right now, because I work in a big university right now. I cannot say the name. We have 17 clinics. I'm doing the IT over 500 people. I moved from the medical field to another level. Also the business and trade. Yes, I connect people on business and trade also with Los Angeles and California and the United States and Latin America, because I speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
And also historically, the Garifuna, who are descendant of the Black African, West African, who has been deported to the Americas and escaped to the Latin America, escaped the culture. I am very interested in culturally connecting people and see what they have and what we have in common. That is food, that is education, that is language, is so beautiful. And I remember when President Mahmoud came to Los Angeles, I have the opportunity to ask him a question, because the president of the Ghanaian Association was my friend. I said, I want to ask him a question. And he said, yes. I said, why we don't collaborate among each other? If I am trained and we have an emergency team, like medical team, that we can pull out from everywhere to respond rather than bring people from overseas, why we couldn't do that for the same any job? If I train you, for example, to work on IT, why I have to find somebody from Europe on IT to come and train people in Africa? When we can do that, I can move from Ghana to Nigeria or to the East Coast, because we know almost our culture. We can speak our languages, because English is my third language, Spanish my fourth, French my second. Why I cannot do that? The answer was, we don't have people who are enough trained. Meaning it's among us. It's us. We have to do that ourselves. We don't have to wait people to do that for us. That's why I always, when I work, and when you call me and ask me for the interview, I say yes, because why I have to give interview for someone else when you are here asking me?
Exactly.
Should I be arrogant and say, okay, well, like we do, I'm coming from the USA, I'm not going to talk to him because he's in Africa. That will never be me. That will be,
wow.
He's a brother from Africa.
Wow.
He needs to talk. Let's do it.
And you made mention of that in your post on Facebook, where you posted about the interview. You made reference to the fact that you are speaking to a brother from your own continent, Africa. I'm glad you made mention of the fact that you've learned a lot moving from one African country to the other. Over 20 African countries, roughly 23 African countries. Have you ever been in Ghana before?
Well, I've not been in Ghana. However, I have a sister there, was Sister Nahanda, Queen Nana from the Akans Nation.
Okay.
She's there right now. She was from Los Angeles and is there. We just talked before I talked to you.
Oh.
We're going to do a tour because what we did, we organized a tour it was last year on at the end of the year for some elected official from Los Angeles. She's here. She was here in Los Angeles. We met here. We become sister. I will send you the picture.
Okay.
And we organized a tour from Los Angeles to Senegal. I was not there. I have a team in Senegal. Went to Gorée Island. Then after that, the team went to Ghana. And they welcomed them, the team from Los Angeles. Now we decide to do the same tour in January next year, January 15,
okay,
to do the triangle, because we need to do the triangle from the United States to Gorée Island to Ghana to the United States.
Wow.
That's what we wanted.
Yeah. We will be glad to have you in Ghana. But beyond your humanitarian works, you are an entrepreneur into international trade. We've made mention of that. What did you observe during your works in Africa? All around Africa, over 20 African countries. Are we harnessing our rich cultural heritage enough for local community development? Or you think Africans can do better with regards to harnessing our very own rich cultural heritage into development, developing our own community? What was your observation?
Well, what I figure out is, first of all, the level of literacy concerning countries who are close to each other, or even who are not close to each other. And also the situation with the borders. It was more difficult for me to travel to, I'm sorry if my friends from Kenya, to get a visa in Kenya, if I come at the airport, I couldn't get it. I have to take it from France to have my visa there at the embassy in order to enter in Kenya. And I slept at the airport 36 hours. When the European can pass, they can get out from the airport, have the stamp on their visa, get inside. And I was the only one who was held back because I have to buy my visa before. And that's very sad to see how we do to it. Every time I was going to Rwanda or Burundi, I spent the night at the airport, 36 hours. When my counterpart, worker with me, even if I was a coordinator of the project, and they are the doctors or the nurses coming with me, and I was a boss, I spent the night at the airport. They could get out in the country, rest, and come back at the airport. We take the plane to go to Rwanda or Burundi.
But you,
Tanzania
the African,
was easier.
But you, the African,
Go ahead.
But you, the African, the
Yes.
indigenous African, could hardly get a
Yes.
visa.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm the African with my African passport.
Wow.
I couldn't get out.
Wow.
Those with the European passport could get out.
Wow.
And we have to stop doing that to each other. We have to stop doing that to each other and find a way to work with each other. I know it's not easy because of borders, because of what we are facing, or people who are challenging us, scamming and terrorism, etc. But we need to find a way to harmonize that. The second issue I see about literacy is not knowing. When people are telling me, are you speaking African language? I say, wait. There is 2,000 language, 3,000 nation in Africa. What are you talking about? The level of knowledge that we don't have to each other and how we facilitate situation for people who are coming from Europe compared to me when they see me. And I'm telling you the truth. When I say to my counterpart, my Senegalese counterpart, what I've done in my life, they are telling me I'm lying. If I tell them in 1999 with Doctors Without Borders, we have the Nobel Peace Prize, I'm one of them, because I'm a woman, they will say that I am lying. If I tell them I was in war zone and I was a coordinator of the program in war zone, they cannot imagine, and they say that nobody knows me. I tell them, I don't need to be known because I've done enough to not, willing to be known. I like what I do.
But the information is out there, just a Google away, and then you have the information pop up. What you've done is all over. I didn't struggle to research about you at all.
But they won't believe that. They think that Google, they say, oh, it's true because it's in Google. They will say, oh, maybe I manufacture it and I send it to Google for Google to put it. When my resume and my bio have been made by people in the United States who went to verify, even in my country, if I graduate in high school, they will verify each and everything that I've said on my resume. And they say, wow, it's true. Now we have to take some part off because I've done so much that they cannot put everything, and they will ask me which one we have to take off here in the United States. When I say that in Africa, they will say, oh no, you are a liar. You cannot do all this. How comes? Meaning, is myself ongoing because I love to do that. Now, the other concept that we need to understand about ourselves. The way that people are coming to our country when they want to get some minerals. We need the money, we know. We have the minerals. But I will never accept for somebody to come and take our mineral without building infrastructure for the people there.
Yes.
We cannot get people having the mineral without building school, without building housing for the people who are working on the mineral, without building hospital, without building a structure that will make them healthy. If you have to drag our minerals out and buy it cheap, and you cannot build that for the people who are working, for me is a no. I will see what conditions are on the field before I allowed you even to come and drag any minerals. It's my people first. Because if I don't put my people first, I believe honestly in karma. I believe in the high power of universe. You see, I'm going to tell you, last time I was not even supposed to be here today. And I was saved by my neighbors that I help. If I was not helping my neighbors, I would be in the street today. And because I have a small accident, nobody will know even I have this accident.
Wow.
I believe in that. I believe in the higher power that when you give, you get back. When you do good, you get good. Meaning when you are here saying that you are living and letting your country, opening doors to anybody to come and dig and drag anything, create war, selling weapons, and you agree on that, and you don't take care of your people. We're going to talk about Congo one day maybe, because I work with the Congolese here too. You will not really sleep at night, whatever you said. Or you are the devil and you can sleep, and I don't think so. You have to build for your people to leave something behind.
You've been to Congo too, right? The Congo story too. We've told the Congo story a couple of times too, where the diamonds, the story of the diamonds and all of that. That of the Sierra Leone, we've told all of these stories. Have you been to Congo and Sierra Leone too?
Well, I work with Congolese refugees in Tanzania and Kenya, in Tanzania specifically, because we have the refugees camp there with Congolese, Tanzania, Kenya, Congolese, Burundian, and Rwandese. And I was a part of the team who created the domestic violence program named SGBV, Sexual and Gender-Based Violence. I was a reproductive health advisor and specialist in Tanzania. You can see the perpetrator in the same place than the victim. Because of the war, everybody ran away and they are in the same refugees camp. 500 people in each refugees camp. Meaning, how can we figure out what is happening and accept what is happening on the ground, knowing that there is a war there and nobody's talking about it because they don't care? The call time that we receive to warm our cars and the battery, etc., coming from there. But the education and the conversation and the information that are coming from the news don't talk about it. Meaning we are the one who have to talk about it. And decide that is enough. I cannot talk about another country outside the continent and not talk about my continent. No. Why should I do that? Meaning we have to say, okay, I don't want to be on the menu. I want to sit at the table. And if I have to sit at the table, I cannot sit by myself. I want to sit at the table with someone from Ghana, someone from Nigeria, someone from Morocco, someone from Congo. I want all of us to sit at the table and decide what we want. Not only me.
Have you, by any chance, met with Kofi Annan in your line of duty?
I haven't met Kofi Annan, unfortunately. That was really someone that I wanted to meet. I follow follow what he was doing. Also, Wangari Maathai too was all the I don't call them celebrity, humanitarian that were really powerful. I know my dad met Nelson Mandela, and because he was a mayor of Gorée Island, when they come to Senegal, they have to pass by Gorée Island. We still humble of doing our work, doing what we have to do. We need to train more of us, more of our kids, train them into politics, and making the politics not only emotional, but think about think tank to see how we can change our mentality and be more educated about the value of our continent, what our lands are, rather than going to buy, rice from other countries, how we can cultivate our own rice. I use a lot of moringa. The moringa, I don't buy the moringa somewhere else than in Africa. And I ask you to send me some shirt. I'm not going to buy the shirt somewhere else than in Ghana.
Yeah,
you understand what I mean? To value what you have.
Yeah. Folks, we're talking to Adrienne Diagne all the way from Los Angeles, a humanitarian, a volunteer. She's ordering some of our smokes here from Ghana because she wants to strengthen trade. That's what she is. You are a life coach as well. You love to coach the younger generation, and I can feel that in your submission. You kept on talking about us training ourselves and training the younger generation into becoming, very great people like Kofi Annan. You are a life coach, but your focus is with the girl, child, and women. Why the sole focus on girl, child, and women?
Well, why I'm focusing on that is because I'm always, my people always tell me, you always look for the most difficult things to do it, because there is nobody doing it. If we have a challenge of, we say there is 10 people, each one will take the most easier part, I will go and take the more difficult because it's challenging me. My competition is myself. And when I challenge myself, I look around people who can help me doing the best for what we need. Meaning that will be where I will go. And it's challenging because sometimes the vision is not well seen, but it's by time and patience, making people thinking. And that's what it is, how I have been coached myself. I remember my dad sitting at a table, make us calculating some stuff and asking questions, and each one was trying to find the answer. And we will not let anybody go until we find the answer. That's what you have, the critical thinking, also the logical way of thinking that you find a solution. You're a solution maker.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to learn.
You are a passionate person, very passionate. You are a passionate person, and you are passionate about mental health as well. Why mental health of all health concerns? I've read about your works on HIV/AIDS as well, but I think your focus is much more on mental health. Why your focus on mental health like that? Do you have an experience?
Yeah, I was trained also on mental health, and mental health is a component that is still unknown in Africa. When you go to some place, you see, for example, children who may be autistic, we don't know, who have some mental challenge, and we think that the word I hate that we use is the word crazy that we don't use anywhere anymore. Because when people are thinking that, you think outside the box, the first thing that we say, oh, you're crazy. No, there is a way, each one has a way of thinking, and mental health is so unknown that people are afraid of talking about it. Depression is a portion of mental health. Anxiety is portion of mental health. And many of us has it without knowing that is a mental illness that we can talk about, and we can go through that and having a way of coping with that. Meaning when we don't know about it, we'd say, oh, the person is crazy. Let me take it to the psychiatrist. But it's no need of psychiatrist. There is some counselor, there is some psychologist, there is different level on the mental health aspect that you can, go through that. And we are not detected in Africa. People don't want to detect. They will tell you, don't do what everybody's doing if you are different. If you go to school, for example, you are bored at class, rather than saying, okay, let's find a school or other system or a sport or art that the person can do. They will tell you, oh, you are too terrible, beat you up and tell you do like everybody. Maybe you are somebody who has a big talent and they don't know because nobody detected on you. That's why I like mental health, because nobody want to do it.
Wow.
Nobody talk about it, and it's so easy. I have experience, and I will finish with that, on the mental health, with many people that I hear on space who are stubborn. They are stubborn, and people say, oh, they are stubborn. I will say, hey, call me back. Because the one person that we know that is really stubborn is President Biden, and nobody knows. Because there is strategy for them to stop being stubborn. Meaning when I talk to them, I say, okay, you're stubborn, yes. Okay, let's make this experience. 10 minutes later, the person is not stuttering anymore.
Wow.
They will speak normally, because it's just a matter of the way you have to breathe and to think before you speak. Then at the end of the day, they figure out that, oh, wow, it was easy. We never knew. We grew up to 20, 21, 22, be studying, but we don't know. Meaning, we know there is solution. We know that there is a speech pathologist. We know that there is speech trainers. We know that we can help. However, it's something that people are put aside because sometimes it's just unknown. You remember about HIV/AIDS was the same before, the stigma.
Yeah.
The same stigma we have on mental health.
Wow. You've traveled over 23 African countries. You have intentions to travel more, because you have intentions to come to Ghana sometime next year, January, for a tour, the Triangle Tour you spoke about. We will be happy to have you in Ghana with your team. But before I let you go today, we will talk again about some of these war-torn countries. You have a lot of experience to share with us about these countries and what you saw going on during the war. We are interested in that. But today we spoke about your works as a humanitarian, as a volunteer. But next time when I call you, we will talk about some of your experiences, some of the observations you made during the war when you were there serving as a volunteer. But for today, it was just about you, extension of the honor. We are proud of you. As Africa, we are proud of you. We are proud of your works, and we honor you on Empire 102.7 one more time tonight. Before I let you go, your what would you want to tell your fellow, Africans in Ghana and beyond? You have the attention of many people listening to you.
Well, are you asking me what is my last, what I can say on the last word, right?
I didn't want to say last words because we'll be talking again. But for tonight, what do you have to tell us?
For tonight.
Yes, for tonight.
What I want to say to people, always go for your dream and find people who can help you go for your dream. If I tell you how hard was the war, was the way for me to reach here from the United States, starting from zero, not because I want to start from zero, because of family circumstances, I have to start from zero and become a cleaners, and even if I have all these degrees, etc., I have to start from zero, cleaning, being a maid, and doing everything, because I have a 3-year-old daughter that I have to raise by myself because of the family circumstance. I did, and we grew together. She's an MA today. I work in the medical field again. But what it is just don't never give up on your dream. Find people who can help you. Don't never give up on anything. It's hard. The road is not straight. People, we see the road are straight, but you know that you will go up, you will fail, you will start over, you will fail. Every time you fail and you get up is an experience that you will remember, and that you carry a baggage plus that will help you tomorrow, knowing that, okay, I can lift to somebody else. That's what my colleagues, when you were calling me before, my colleagues were asking me, that is not my job. Do you have resources on this and this and this and this? They are the one who have to find their own resources. But as I pull resources from everywhere and help organization everywhere, I do have the resources. Now they are coming to me and asking me resources when it's not my job. And I always give them the resources. And I work also with sex workers, etc. Meaning people will ask me every time, do you know this? Do you know that? I will say yes. They say, how you know all this? Because I work in a situation where I have to find organization to help me, to help other people. And when they call me, I will help too. Meaning based on that, don't never give up your dream. Don't ever say that whenever you think that is the last and you're on the wall and you're going to go down, believe me, the higher power, you call it God, you call it the other name, you call it Buddha, you call it Muhammad, the higher God will always never put you in a way where you cannot move forward and still push going. And you still go.
Thank you.
And you will see the effect in the next time.
Thank you very much for talking to us. We appreciate your time. Yes, it's luxury to us and we appreciate it. We have our annual seminar out coming up this year on the 23rd of September 2024. I hope to put you on screen, talk to you via Skype as one of our speakers this year, 23rd September 2024. I will talk to you about that back door. When I'm done, I will talk to you about that, share with you some of our past events, our past seminars, so you get to know what goes into it. And then we have to talk to you one more time, madam. Thank you so much for talking to us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Aruna, Madasi, and thank you very much for everything.
Okay, we can't wait to
You're amazing.
All right, you're amazing too. We can't wait to have you in Ghana.
You're amazing, and thanks for having me. I appreciate you a lot.
All right.
Love everybody who was on the call today.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.